Okay, so you've got this killer app idea, and you're in Dallas. I mean, what a place to be, right? It's one of the hottest tech hubs in the entire country. But here's the thing, so is everyone else. Trying to find the right development partner in this scene can feel like looking for a needle in a haystack. So let's dive into this guide and see what it can tell us about finding the top developers in the city.
Yeah, it's absolutely no secret that Dallas is just blowing up with tech growth. And it doesn't matter if you're a tiny startup or a huge company, the pressure is on. You've got to find a tech partner who can build smart, fast, and scalable apps just to keep up. The demand is through the roof, and frankly, so is all the noise.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you're staring at this ocean of options, how on earth do you make a choice that could literally make or break your business? We're going to break down one specific guide that ranks the top developers in Dallas to see how it tries to answer that very question for you. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll take a quick look at the Dallas app scene, see how the top players are ranked, and put a few of them under the microscope. Then we'll get into a checklist for how you can choose a partner, and yep, we are definitely talking about the all-important question of cost. But you'll for sure want to stick around because we're going to end by talking about how to read between the lines of any guide just like this one.
First up, let's see how they're breaking down the market. Now, the source we're looking at has supposedly done all the homework, analyzing portfolios, digging through client reviews, checking out their tech skills. So let's see who made the cut.
And here we go, the TLDR version of the top 12 developers in Dallas. You can see there's a huge range here, right? From India app developer with an hourly rate listed under $25, all the way up to a company like BottleRocket, which can run you up to $180 an hour. This table gives us a really great snapshot of the major players, what they specialize in, and a general idea of the price tag.
Okay, a big table is one thing, but you know the real story is always in the details. So now we're going to zoom in and see exactly how some of these top-ranked companies are described. And of course, we're going to start with number one. Let's see what supposedly makes them stand out.
So the guide puts India app developer right at the top at number 1. And you really got to pay attention to the language being used here. It's described as a fast-growing firm known for high-performing digital products at, and this is the key phrase, highly competitive pricing.
And just look at this list of services. I mean, we're talking about the whole shebang here. They're highlighting the entire life cycle of a project, from the very first idea all the way to support after the app is launched. The message they're sending is crystal clear. This is your complete one-stop shop for development.
And here's the Why Us slide. This is how the guide explains their main selling points. It lists this really powerful combination of things. They're cost-effective, they get the US market, they have serious tech skills, and they even throw in logistical perks like being aligned with the time zones. The takeaway is meant to be a perfect blend of quality and affordability.
Okay, moving on. Let's look at company number 2, Synergy Labs. They're called a performance-driven company, been around for a decade, and they focus on healthcare, finance, and retail. Solid, for sure, but notice how much shorter that description is.
And then at number 3, you've got Dialexa, described as a premier name for big, enterprise-level stuff. Again, super concise, right? Just a quick highlight of their focus on large-scale innovation.
All right, so we've seen who they like, but the guide doesn't just give you a list and say, good luck. It also provides a framework so you can make your own decision. Let's switch gears and look at the actual advice on how to check out any potential partner you're thinking about working with. You know, this is actually a fantastic checklist for doing your homework. It tells you to check their past work and what clients say, make sure they have the right tech skills, demand clear pricing up front, understand their workflow from start to finish, and, this is a big one, make sure they'll still be there for you after your app launches. And of course, communication is everything.
And now, let's talk about the one thing every founder is thinking about: money. The guide offers up this really fascinating and very direct comparison of what development costs, pitting local Dallas prices right against developers in India.
And whoa, the numbers here are pretty dramatic. For a basic app, they're quoting $60,000 or more in Dallas versus a starting price of just $8,000 in India. And as the apps get more complex, that gap just gets wider and wider.
And just to make sure you really get it, check out this chart. They visualize the cost for a mid-level app. The starting price in Dallas is shown at $120,000, compared to just $20,000 in India. That is a six-fold difference. It's being presented as an absolute game changer for any business's budget. So we have the rankings, we have the checklist, and we have the cost breakdown. It seems like a pretty comprehensive guide, right? But before we wrap this up, there is one last crucial piece of the puzzle we need to talk about, and it's all about context. Think about it. We've just absorbed a ton of information that seems to point in a very clear direction, doesn't it? We saw this incredibly detailed profile for the #1 company, and then a really powerful financial argument for offshore development. But are we getting the whole picture here?
And here it is. The author of this guide is a product consultant at, you guessed it, India App Developer, the company that was ranked #1, which means this guide, with all its rankings and all its advice, is also a piece of marketing written by the very company it promotes the most. Now hold on, this doesn't mean the information is useless. That checklist for choosing a partner is still fantastic advice, but it totally changes how you read the rankings, right? It leaves us with this final, super important question. Anytime you read a top 10 list or a buyer's guide, what's the very first thing you should do? Maybe it's just scrolling all the way to the bottom to find out who wrote it.